Hi guys! Today we're going to make an outdoor game. Let's go. So today we're going to make cornhole. So the things you need are fabric. I use some old pants. You could also use an old t-shirt. You could use just fabric you have laying around. You need 2 cardboard boxes. You need something to fill your bean bags. I use corn, but you could use beans or lentils or rice or pebbles or beads, anything you have. You need scissors. You need glue or sewing things and, duct tape. The first thing I did was I chose 2 different fabrics so that I could tell the difference between the 2 teams that were playing. So I took it and I measured it out, and I did squares that were 5 by 5. Now you'll notice that they aren't perfect by any means. This one's much bigger than the other one. The sides are all topsy-turvy. That's okay. You're just gonna glue them. They don't need to be perfect. Just try your best. The next step would be to glue the bean bags. You could also sew them. I find hot gluing them is the faster choice, but they do break easily, so you have to make sure they're very well glued. I had one yesterday when I was testing this out that it was not glued, and the corn went everywhere in the room, and then I spent the next 10 minutes picking everything up, and I still am finding them. So just be careful. So I'm gonna fold this back. If you do the hot glue, it's going to dry pretty quickly, and I personally have a hard time getting all the sides glued down before it dries. Go to the next side. Be really careful with the hot glue gun. Make sure it's really nice and pressed in there. Be careful because it's hot. And then I would just put your hand on the inside and run it through and make sure there's no holes. Don't tug it too hard, but give it a little tug. Make sure it's secure. Okay, so you're only gluing 3 sides because you want to leave the top one open so you can fill her up. You could use a funnel. I'm winging it. Going to Alright, dropped one. You don't want to fill it up too much. You want it to be able to move and not be stiff. So I lay it down and I see where it might be flat. I actually think I put too many, so I'm going to take some of these out. And then when you have the right amount, you'll glue the last one shut. Perfect. And then you have your bean bag. If you want to give your bean bag a cleaner look after you've done your 3 sides, you can turn it inside out. And then you'll have some cleaner seams. It'll just be a little harder to fold it in on the other side and have both sides fold in to close, or you could have one side that's a little bit messier, but either way works the same. So in the end, you need 8 bags, 4 of each color. I actually ended up using rocks in half of mine because I ran out of my other material. As long as they all kind of feel the same weight, you're good to go. The next step would be to build your cornhole box. So I was lucky and I had the same box twice because we ordered 2 of the same thing at different times and we kept the boxes. So just make sure your boxes are relatively the same size. So this is the size box I'm gonna use. You could use a bigger box if you wanted to. You can make a smaller version, make like a desk cornhole. You could use a small box, but this is like a medium sized box that we're gonna use. My first step is to kind of measure out. I had like a little more than an inch, and I'm lucky. I know that from this part to this part is an inch on my finger, so I measure an inch down the side plus a little bit, and I make a line, so I know that from this marking down to this corner I'm gonna make a line. Kind of like that. It doesn't need to be perfect. You can fix it when you do your actual cutting. And you flip it around and do the same thing over here. Over here, I know that I need to go up. Let's see. Measure here, like here. And then it's time to start cutting. You might need adult help for this. It does take a lot of strength to cut through the cardboard. You could also use a box cutter with adult help. Whew. One side done. This box was used to hold charcoal, which is now all over my floor because apparently the bag bursts. I cut off this extra tab so it looks like that. I'm gonna bend it so it matches where it goes in. It's a little tricky. Again, nothing has to be perfect. Try your best. So it bends to meet that, and then take that down so it's all taped down. And then you use something to trace the hole. I'm going to use this duct tape roll. You could use a cup. You can make the hole smaller or bigger depending on how hard or easy you want the game to be. I just make sure that your beanbag fits through and can slip through easily. So you can trace it. And then you might need some help again. You can use box cutter or scissors to cut the hole out. And then when you cut your hole, you'll see there's this second layer. With that second layer, I just push it into the bottom, and then I grab some tape to hold it down. So now it's not in your way. You have a nice hole. I also find that this tape that holds the box together rips really easily, so I'm going to reinforce it with some duct tape. Ta-da! So here's the rules. You should be a good amount apart. Each cornhole cardboard box will be facing each other and separated. So you have two teams, and you divide the bean bags, just like why we have colors, into 4. You could have 2 people on each team, or it could be 2 people facing each other. Either way, you divide up the bean bags, and you just decide which team goes first. One person goes, and then the next team goes, and then one person goes, and then the next team goes, and you switch off till all the bean bags are thrown. You underhand toss the bean bag to the other cornhole cardboard box. If the beanbag lands on the cardboard box, that is 1 point. If the beanbag lands and goes in the hole, that is 3 points. If it hits it but then goes off, 0 points. It's wherever it ends up. So if after you're done, one is right on the edge of the hole and then somebody hits one and it goes in, that counts. It's wherever the beanbags end up in the end of the total round. You are playing until one of the teams gets to 21, and then that team wins. And then you're ready to play. Let's go.